Welcome, everyone, to episode number 3 of Talk Wrestling here on wherever you're watching this, NoDQ.com, MySpace.com, YouTube.com. We are a hit. I said this on the last show. I'm very thankful to all of you who are watching the show, and I'm very thankful to those of you that have left comments on my comment board and questions in my inbox and questions to Aaron at NoDQ.com, and it's been a tremendous thrill for me to have the show be this much of a hit. We're doing better than Aaron's Cat Diaries, which is a little funny for me. No, I'm just kidding. I love the Cat Diaries. It's fun stuff. I wish that I could do this more often, but once a week is all I can get out of myself, unfortunately. Before I get started on the show today, I have a request for all you guys out there, for all you guys and gals. One question per show. I had 150 emails this week, and most of them had 2, 3, 4, even 5 questions. I can't answer that many questions. It's only a 22-minute show, 23-minute show, somewhere in that area. So, for the love of God, please send me one question per show. After you see your question on the show, send me another one. Don't send me 2 or 3 or 4. I've got several people that have 2, 3, 4 questions on here. I'm not going to be able to answer them all. So, I apologize if I can't get to your questions. And a lot of people send in the same question. You guys all know that a lot of you are going to be asking, for example, is Chris Jericho going to return to wrestling? That's been the big question for me this week. Is Chris Jericho coming back? Is he going to TNA? Is he going to WWE? I don't know. The only person that knows that answer is Chris Jericho. You have to email Chris Jericho at chrisjericho.com. That's the best thing I can tell you to do, is to email Chris Jericho himself, because only he knows when he's coming back. The rumor is that his passion for wrestling is starting to return inside him, and he may be coming back. If he comes back, he'll probably go to WWE. That's where he's had his most success. That's where he was undisputed champion for a while. I think he'll be a great WWE superstar again. So if he does come back, he'll be with WWE. All right, let's get to your questions. This is from Julian. Do you think that the WWE should get rid of the follow-up pay-per-views like Backlash, which had the same main event as the one before, and just stick to making the primary ones better? Do you think this would benefit the fans? Great question, Julian. Yes. I think the WWE should get rid of all the pay-per-views except for Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. That's it. 4 pay-per-views a year. They probably make more money on the pay-per-views. Yes, they generate a lot of revenue for pay-per-views every month, but people are sick and tired of shelling out $40 a month and $50 for WrestleMania for pay-per-views that seem like 3-hour television shows. That's what they are. They're 3-hour versions of Raw and SmackDown, because you see the same people doing the same things month after month after month. How many times did we see Lashley versus the McMahons this year? Backlash, Judgment Day, and One Night Stand. It's ridiculous. And how many times do you see Undertaker versus Batista on pay-per-view? Undertaker versus Edge versus Batista on pay-per-view? Or Edge versus anybody on pay-per-view? And Edge, God bless him, I hope he gets better soon. That torn pec is a bitch. I've had a friend that tore his pec not too long ago, actually, and he's recovering right now. And it's a brutal injury. It's terrible. But I think that the fall pay-per-views are a waste. I think the WWE could better benefit the fans by marketing the pay-per-views, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Survivor Series, and SummerSlam, not in that order. But, like the build like they used to have. The build between WrestleMania and SummerSlam was always huge. Between SummerSlam and Survivor Series was huge. And between Survivor Series and Royal Rumble was always big. They were always good builds. And I think they could do that again. And I think that TNA would be better off doing, pay-per-views once every few months as well. Let the things build. These monthly pay-per-views are just wearing the storylines and the fans out. Alright, this one comes from the Token Redneck. In your opinion, who has the better tag teams, Raw, SmackDown, or TNA? Well, have you watched the programs lately? TNA has the best tag teams. They've got Team 3D, they got the Voodoo Kin Mafia, they got Triple X, they have Serotonin, they've got Team 3D, Serotonin, Voodoo Kin Mafia, Team 3D, LAX, Serotonin. They've got the better tag teams, in my opinion. Raw has Caden Murdoch and London and Kendrick, the world's greatest tag team. Who else do they have? Let's see. I've got it written down here somewhere. Crime Time, the Highlanders. Those were all great teams on Raw, don't get me wrong, but they're not being used properly. They're not being given the time they need. So I think the TNA has the better tag teams that are being used. But I think that if they were pushed properly, Raw could have the best tag teams. SmackDown has Deuce and Domino. That's it. They have makeshift tag teams like Regal and Taylor, who are now broken apart because of Regal going to Raw. And they don't really have any challengers on for... They have that new team, Festus and whatever his name is, coming in. That's going to be a stupid gimmick. I hope they don't go very far with that. but they're coming to SmackDown. Maybe they can challenge Juice and Domino. Should there be ECW tag belts? No, ECW has no tag teams. I forgot the Steiner brothers in TNA. They're a great team too. If Scott ever gets healthy, God bless Scott Steiner for trying to be healthy. But should there be ECW tag belts? No, because ECW has no tag teams. The one tag team they did have was the FBI, and I believe not Nunzio, but the other guy, Tony Mamaluke, has been released, and Trinity's not there anymore either. So there's no FBI. No ECW tag belts whatsoever. The best tag teams, TNA. All right, this one is from Big Sexy. Who would win between Hulk Hogan in his prime and Bret Hart in his prime? Did we have a question like this last week, Aaron? We had Randy Orton versus Samoa Joe in a Falls Count Anywhere match. What do you guys want these dream matches for? Let the past be, but I'll answer it. It's okay, I'll answer it. Hogan in his prime was about 1987 versus Bret Hart in about 1991, 1992. I think if you match up those two personalities, those two wrestlers, I think that Bret Hart would overcome Hogan. And this is shocking for me to say because I'm the biggest Hogan mark there is. There's no doubt about that. But I got to be honest. I think Bret Hart's technical skill would overcome the brawn of Hulk Hogan. I think that Bret Hart would get. It wouldn't be a sharpshooter type victory. It'd be like when Bret Hart beat Diesel back in '95. It'd be Hogan would get cocky and pick him up for a power slam or something. Bret Hart would roll him up 1, 2, 3. I think that his technical prowess would overcome the Hulkster by far. They're both great athletes. They're both tremendous performers. They both got a lot of charisma. I think the fans would be divided, but I think that the Hogan marks would, Hulkamaniacs would try to rally Hogan to victory as much as possible, but I think in the end Bret Hart would overcome it all. This is from our old buddy Greg Cherry, former XMV and Ringside Insanity fan. Greg, thank you for your questions as always. We appreciate it. I'm going to answer one of them because the Great American Bash, we all know it sucked, and yeah, so I'm not going to address that one. I didn't see it, but I'm not going to address it. Do you ever see Christopher Daniels getting a main event push, or do you see him sticking with Triple X, who I thought wasn't supposed to be together again after the AMW versus Triple X match back in 2004? Funny you asked that question, because Aaron and Mike and I were there for the America's Most Wanted versus Triple X match back in 2004 at Turning Point when Harrison Storm defeated, at the time it was Daniels and Skipper because Loki wasn't there. I think that Daniels is going to stick with Triple X for a while. He's going to go after the X Division Championship. And Triple X is going to help win the title back. I think that whatever happens with this Joe versus Angle thing is going to be resolved at Hard Justice, and Daniels will get his shot at the X Division Championship, rightfully so, in my opinion. And, excuse me, I apologize. And yeah, Triple X shouldn't be teaming together, but you know what? I think it was that the team of Daniels and Skipper wasn't supposed to team together. I think the three of them are allowed to be together. I think they found a loophole, like the Freebird loophole that they always used back in the day. I think the three of them are allowed to team together, there's not the two of them. So, and as long as Daniels and Skipper don't team as a regular tag team, I think they can get away with it. I hope they do. I love Chris Daniels, I love Elix Skipper, and I love Senshi now. He's not Loki anymore, he's Senshi in TNA. I always think of him as Loki. I think Daniels will stick with them for the immediate future, and he'll go after the X Division Championship. Once he wins the X Division title, he may stick with Triple X for a couple more months, and then he'll break away and hopefully win the world title. All right, this is one of the ones that came in from our buddy Jeffrey, who sent in some questions last show. Jeffrey, thank you for all your questions, but please, one at a time. You're killing me. I think he sent in a total of about 7 or 8 questions this week. I had to edit some of them out. I didn't include them all on the list. One of the questions I'm going to ask from him is, do you think it's good that AJ Styles is a heel? As long as he is one, I doubt he'll win championships for a while he's a heel. However, I think it's a good thing because he's won so many championships in TNA. He's won 13 championships in TNA, according to Jeffrey. I think it's good for AJ to have a new dynamic in his career. We've all gotten used to AJ being a babyface, but he's a great heel. He's a great swarmy heel. He's a great crybaby heel. He's good as part of Christian's coalition, so to speak. I think it's working for him. I think I agree with you where it's working for him, but he won't be a champion as long as he's part of the coalition. He may be X Division champion again if they had. Be a great feud would be Daniels and AJ over the X Division championship. If Daniels sticks with Triple X and AJ sticks with the coalition, it'd be a good 6-man battle. Christian, Tomko, and AJ against Triple X. I think that'd be a great feud, but I don't think AJ's going to be a champion for a while as long as he's a heel. It's good for TNA and it's good for him right now because he's much better off being the crybaby, the little sneaky heel. Just my opinion. All right, this one is from Jason LS. I watched part of your first show and your second. I'm a big wrestling fan, and one of my favorite wrestlers is Raven. My question is, what is your take on Raven, from his days as Johnny Polo to what he has become now, and what are they planning with Serotonin? Personally, I don't get it. I don't think that him and Kaz are building to the hype they want. Do you think that Serotonin was a good idea, or do you think a New Age flock would be better, a more hardcore group than this demonic one? Very long, involved question, but thank you for the question, Jason. I've always been a big fan of Raven. I like his work in TNA. I like his work in WCW. I especially like his work in ECW. His feud with the Sandman and his feud with Tommy Dreamer was some of the best stuff I've ever seen through the use of videotape, thanks to Aaron and Mike. I didn't get to see the original ECW back in its prime, but I did get to see the use of videotape and the rise and fall of ECW, some of their work. I think Kazarian, our good buddy Frankie Kazarian, breaking away from Serotonin is a good idea, but I think you're right. I don't think the feud is building to the hype they want. I think it's going to fizzle out very quickly. Kazarian belongs in the X Division. That's where he shines. That's where he is a superstar. And he should be X Division champion before too long, much like Christopher Daniels. I think that they need to break away the Serotonin and have them be X Division guys like they used to be. Martyr and Havoc used to be great X Division wrestlers. I can't remember who they are now. Matt Bentley is one of them. I don't know who the other one is. Austin Starr, I believe. I don't really know. But I know that they belong in the X Division. Raven, I think, may be running out of time as far as what they're going to do with him after Serotonin. Raven is a great wrestler. He's a great ring psychologist. Matter of fact, there's a question on here later about who has the best ring psychology, in my opinion, from Alexander, AW90, I guess is his name. Raven had the best ring psychology of anybody I've ever seen. He knew how to captivate an audience through that television set and through his promos, much like Jake the Snake Roberts did back in his heyday. Those two guys were the best ring psychologists I ever saw in my entire life. But I think Raven's now coming to the twilight of his career. He's getting older. He's not being used right in TNA, and I think it's time for him to hang it up, just my opinion. All right, this one's from, I guess, Looney, L-U-N, exclamation point E. Is that how you say it? Let me know how to say it on the next show, okay? He's got a long question. He's got a little essay here about the WWE and their tag team divisions. So I'm just going to address it really quick. The WWE tag team division is not so good. I mentioned this earlier in the show about TNA having the better tag teams. And that's not necessarily the case, only because Raw has a lot of good tag teams, like Crime Time, the Highlanders, London and Kendrick, the world's greatest tag team, Cade and Murdoch. But they're not being pushed properly. And the feud has been Cade and Murdoch against the Hardys. That's been the feud. The Hardys aren't even a regular team anymore. One guy's on Raw, one guy's on SmackDown. And recently they had the tag team champions be John Cena and Shawn Michaels. Why would you do that? Why would you have Shawn Michaels and John Cena be the champions? They were feuding. That was stupid. Stupid. And on SmackDown they have Deuce and Domino. That's it. That's the only tag team they have on SmackDown. They have that new team, Festus and whatever his name is, coming in to help bolster their tag team division. But they suck. Deuce and Domino are a one-hit wonder. I think their act is going to wear out very, very quickly. And I think that the SmackDown division is absolutely dreadful. And there is no tag team division in ECW. There's no tag team titles in ECW, and rightfully so, because they have no teams. I think TNA is outshining the WWE tag team division by far. I'm not a fan of singles wrestlers being tag team or tag team champions either. You mentioned that in your question. Thank you. And Regal and Taylor were a great team on SmackDown. They broke them up because Regal went back to Raw. Why would you do that? Why would you have Regal and Taylor split up? They had such potential. Regal is, as long as he's been in wrestling, he's still got a lot left in him to give. And he was a great tag team wrestler. I don't think he's going to be a good single star. I think that, he may be, a good Intercontinental Champion again, or a good, but he won't be a world champion. It won't happen for Regal. I'm sorry, but it won't. And, he could have made a good U.S. champion on SmackDown if they want to split the team. I believe both on SmackDown and have a team every once in a while. WWE's tag team division is in very, very serious trouble, and I think that they need to revamp it really quickly or just get rid of the tag team divisions altogether. This one's from Joey LaSquigs. I'm a huge Sting fan. I think he's too good for TNA. I realize he is most likely going to have to retire soon, but I think he has a few more amazing main event matches left in him. Do you agree that he should go to WWE before retiring, get in the Hall of Fame, and possibly get into a main event feud with The Undertaker, Triple H, or John Cena? I will tell you this right now. If WWE stays in the direction they are right now, you will never see Sting in WWE. Sting has been very outspoken against WWE in their direction. He feels they're too adult. He feels they're too They're too much, and I don't think that Sting will fit in WWE whatsoever. I think that once he retires, he may get inducted into the Hall of Fame, much like Dusty Rhodes, who never really had a success in WWE, but he did work for them at one point. But there's guys like, The Sheik, who never wrestled for WWE. There are guys that have never wrestled for WWE that will get inducted into the Hall of Fame because they deserve it, and because WCW is part of WWE now. I think guys like Sting will get inducted to the Hall of Fame someday, but it won't be for a long, long time. All right, there's a lot of general questions that a lot of you have asked. I'm going to go over some of those right now. The first one being the resurrection of the Hardcore Championship in ECW. That's not going to happen. I wish it would. I wish ECW had another title to go after, and it'd be great if we saw more hardcore matches, Extreme Rules matches in ECW like the old days. But it's not going to happen. I don't think Vince McMahon wants to see those kind of matches anymore. I think that Vince has reshaped ECW in his own image, and he's going to keep it that way because he's happy. I don't know why he's happy. The ratings are terrible. Impact's almost beating them in the ratings. I think Vince should be happy with that. Just my opinion. King Booker becoming Booker T again. That's a really good question. And as a matter of fact, it's going to be addressed, I think, this coming Monday on Raw. I think that Lawler and Booker are going to fight for the right to wear the crown. And if Booker loses, I think he'll go back to being Booker T. I think Booker T will be better off without the King Booker moniker. I think the whole King Booker thing has run its course. I think Booker T will be better off as just a heel Booker T. And I think that he'll be a great contender to the WWE Championship once he gets past being King Booker. My opinion on Randy Orton getting the title shot instead of Mr. Kennedy. I think that's the right thing to do right now. Mr. Kennedy is great. I praised Mr. Kennedy very much in the last episode. I got called out for it, as a matter of fact. I was told to get off Mr. Kennedy's nuts. And I'm going to get off Mr. Kennedy's nuts for a little while right now. Randy Orton's the best guy for number one contender spot. They had a great match at the house show I went to on Saturday last week between Orton and Cena. It was a great match. Ricky Steamboat was the guest referee, which was fun. That's a big old bug on the table. Big old wasp or something was just on the table. That was scary. Anyway, I think Randy Orton will be a great number one contender. I think it'll be I think it'll even be good if he wins the title from Cena. I really do. I think it'll be cool to see Cena chase Orton for the championship, going into Unforgiven and No Mercy even. And hopefully that'll be a good feud. The Cruiserweight division and the underutilization of it. You need to look no further than the current Cruiserweight champion to see how underutilized that division is. The current Cruiserweight champion is a midget. It's Hornswoggle. Give me a break. Hornswoggle is a midget wrestler who's holding a adult male championship. A full-size championship. Why? I don't get this. They've got Chavo. They've got Jimmy Wang Yang. They've got Helms when he's healthy again. They've got, London and Kendrick they can bring back to SmackDown. They've got so many cruiserweights in that company. They got Shannon Moore, and they can't ever seem to get this division right. It sucks. It's terrible. I think they should get rid of that championship, too. I think there should be a world championship, a singles championship, and a tag team championship on each show. The women's championship is going to be useless after a while because Candice is not a full-time wrestler, let's be honest. She's improved very much, but I don't think it's going to last. And the cruiserweight division is absolutely dreadful. Give me a break. Shawn Michaels and Triple H returning. DX reforming. Triple H is coming back at SummerSlam. Shawn Michaels is coming back when he wants to. I don't think they're going to put DX back together. I think Triple H is going to come back as the Game, the King of Kings. They've pushed for that. And I think Shawn Michaels is going to come back on his own and probably have his last run when he does come back. Thank you for all for asking those same questions. I was glad to address them all. And don't ask them again, please. I beg of you. This one's from Big Sal. What is your opinion on the WWE considering buying AAA, they're based out of Mexico, for those of you who don't know what AAA is. They're a great organization. I think it'd be a shame if WWE bought them only because WWE would, turn them into another ECW and shape them into their own image. And, Mexican wrestling doesn't need a WWE governing. The Mexican wrestling is doing just fine on its own. They're on their own. They're happy. And hopefully they're not losing enough money where WWE can come in and just swoop in and buy them. Because WWE governing any part of Mexican wrestling is a big mistake. WWE can tour Mexico all they want. That's fine. Let them run the big cities. Let them run, the major areas of Mexico. But let AAA and EMLL and all those other guys stick where they are. I think it's a bad idea if WWE buys them, for sure. Thank you all very much for your questions this week. We'll get to some more of them next week. I've got a lot of questions here. I've still got a ton to address. Like I said, I had 150 emails this week or something like that over the last week. It's been phenomenal, to quote AJ Styles. It's been great. But I'll get to more questions later. MySpace.com/Jeff Meacham. That's where you can email me. You can also email me at jdmeach1@yahoo.com. You can also email Aaron at nodq.com. That's not the actual email address. It's tw@nodq.com, I believe. Yes. And you can find us on nodq.com, on YouTube, on Aaron's MySpace, on my MySpace. And just keep looking for us. We'll be out there. And thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.